Got it. All right, before we go to a motion on the minutes, I did have a couple of changes that I sent over to Linda. So one of the things let me pull it up real quick. With the minutes, under number 9, the solicitation. When I read the minutes, it was confusing as to exactly who voted on what because the resolution numbers were not in there. And she kind of lumped all 3 resolutions into listing the vote on just all 3. And I think either the vote needs to be listed on all 3 resolutions that were done, the vote that was taken, or she needs to throw the resolution numbers in there, either way. So that's my only concern and my only requested change on the minutes. Did I make sense?
Yes, to me you did.
Okay. So with that, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I do have one thing, also that I was in attendance, but my name is not reflected at the top.
Okay, then we'll add that in as well.
And I did send Linda an email about that.
Okay. All right, with those 2 changes, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
All right.
Keith, you want to give us the financial update?
Okay, we're halfway through the year. We still have total cash and investments of $15,379,000, of which $9,874,000 is related to FAD. Expenses for the check run for the month is only $35,626, partly because we ran the checks a little early, because Linda was out. And if anyone has any questions about financials, I am open to questions.
Okay, hearing none. Kevin, you want to do a project update?
Yep. So we have a few projects that are going to be going to construction for award in most likely September and October, given the current timeline that we've got. Expecting to be both projects to be in the range of $1 million. One's down at in North Salem at Keeler Lane, the second's in Newcastle on Court Mill Road. Court Mill Road will be a reimbursement with the Army Corps of Engineers. We have still yet to finish that agreement. As it works is we need our 90% specifications in first for them to review, and then that's been sent along to them, and then we'll enter into an agreement with them. Of course, we cannot begin any construction on that project prior to their, I believe it's their commanding officer signing the physical document. Once that date is put on the document of the agreement, we're ready to begin construction. But I'd like to at least get it out for construction, pending waiting, of course, to see if they have any comments on the specifications. And then we have it lined up and hopefully have an October, November start for the project. Per our last executive committee meeting, Corey and I have been taking a hard look at all of the open catch basin insert projects that we have in the places where we're using the Fabco filters. Made a few adjustments that we thought were in the best interest of the corporation, whether it was eliminating a basin that is uphill from a driveway, or one, getting additional feedback from the towns for basins that they felt were particularly troubling, something that might fill up with sediment a little bit more frequently than anticipated. We've made a couple of minor adjustments to some projects, but didn't find that there was any, with that in mind, that there wasn't anything that needed large sweeping corrections based off of any liability that we might be walking into. We are anticipating a bit of a redesign for SCF 901, which is within a homeowners association in the town of Somers. through our review, when we were looking at each individual basin, that those were all catch basin filters that were going to be installed there. And we felt that we not only do we want to remove ourselves from a situation where we may have multiple homeowners that could have multiple opinions and problems with the project, as in with the homeowners association, particularly here, I didn't count all the buildings because I'd still be counting. I think there's probably over 100 residents that each individually would have a say in the water's flooded back that we don't really need. In addition to that, we felt that there's probably better retrofits that we could do there. We're going to meet with their homeowners association and see if we can change gears to filtration devices within the roadways, pull the systems completely out and away from the homeowners entirely. That will allow us to, I believe we would actually end up increasing our phosphorus reduction total, decrease our O&M requirements for the stormwater retrofit, and would open up the opportunity to use FAD funding at those locations, because as you guys know, the catch basin inserts right now, we cannot use FAD funding to implement those. And since this project is in Croton Falls, it's in our best interest to try to make sure that we use FAD funding there. There are a few other projects within the catch basin inserts that we are going to get ready for installation on, and one of which is in Marina Drive, which is locking in the installation agreements. At our last meeting, we had discussed all of those agreements, and moving forward, I think there was 6 in total, which is a lot. But between all the individual property owners, we feel we're really close to just signing off on that one, getting that into the ground soon, which would be great. It's been a long one coming, but it's been a lot of property owners to get through. That project is almost 100% impervious. It's a commercial area in the southern tip of Lake Mahopac that has a lot of catch basins that are just easy to grab, and it's going to be going for us. Let's see.
Can I ask a question, Kevin?
Yeah.
So on the projects that you mentioned where you were looking at, that you were talking about at the very beginning, the projects that you have in process, where you're actually at the construction phase, or are you at the design phase for those projects that you were talking about, where you were making some changes?
The one that we're going to make changes to is in the design phase.
Is in the design phase. So,
Yeah.
and the design engineer then, has the design engineer been asked to look at this issue as well to sign off on this particularly?
Not yet. What we wanted to do was internally make sure that this is going to make sense before we authorize the engineer to go ahead and do, any redesigns on it. We want to be very clear on any potential change order requests that may come to them. And we feel as though we can minimize any potential increase in costs for the project. Corey and I've gone through it a couple of times now. We think that we've come to a good landing spot, but before the engineer does anything, we want to talk to the homeowners association to make sure that they're on board with what we're proposing.
Are you talking about the SCF 901 project?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Did you mention the Keeler project before that? I thought you were highlighting.
Yeah, I mentioned in the beginning, I mentioned Keeler Lane, which is NSMU 601, and Court Mill Road, which is new CR, NCR.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I thought you were still on that. When you said you were looking at catch basin projects and making some adjustments, I thought you were going back and referring to some of those. So I was just trying to understand which projects you were talking about reevaluating. So it was just SCF 901?
The projects that we reevaluated
Mhm.
were Marina Drive, Carmel AM 1000, SCF 901 and Greenbrier,
Mhm.
LCR 805, Salem Hill Road.
Mhm.
Am I missing any, Corey? I think that might be it.
Well,
Bridge
Kevin,
Road,
before-
Carmel GL 815.
Kevin,
Also,
before you mentioned Croton Falls, but I'm not sure as that was correct. Did you say, you said Croton Falls? I don't know what project it was.
That was for SCF 901 in Greenbrier subdivision in Somers.
Okay, so that's not Croton, okay.
Also
Okay,
LCR
great.
It's just,
701.
it's the only little tiny piece of Westchester County that has the Croton Falls Reservoir in it.
Right. So Kevin, I just want to make sure that before these go forward, that the design engineers are being asked to sign off on the evaluation of this issue as well, right?
Yes.
That they are also being asked to look at this issue specifically. Okay, thank you.
Yes, understood.
Okay.
So we have a few that are lined up for construction to begin this fall. We did a lot of design kickoffs from the last executive committee meeting, and everybody's come out and ready to go with a lot of these projects that are recently got awarded, and we're excited for. That's it.
Kevin, do we have a project pending down in Yorktown to install some catch basins that went out to bid?
That we, so what we did is we went out to bid on that, and the numbers came back way too high for us to be comfortable to move forward with it. I felt that it was in between, some things that the town may be able to do on their own in terms, we're kind of right in that gray area of, is this something that the town should do for their own infrastructure, right, or something that we need to do for a retrofit? And in discussing it with the engineer, we felt that it kind of went the opposite direction towards maybe this is something the town could pull into their own infrastructure plan. If in most of those cases with that project, which is 1 U 602, we feel as though we can install it without the town making these adjustments, but it may have been for the longevity of the project, it's in the best interest of some of those adjustments we made. Basically the readjusting grates and how the basin itself would sit inside the structure. But those are all things that in the future, should we find that those catch basin structures are in need of repair, we can always pull the unit out, have it be fixed, and the unit can go right back in. So we felt that we didn't want to award the project as it came back per the bidding from last month.
So we got to rebid this?
We're going to discuss with the engineer whether or not we want to rebid. Well, I don't know if it was, we believe that the project should have came in about 50% lower than it did. And I don't know that we're going to get a better number if we rebid it, or if we're going to choose to just go ahead and have them installed. So we'll discuss it with the design engineer and the town and come to a conclusion on it.
All right, so if we're not going to rebid it, we got to take some action to reject the bids?
Sure. If we, as currently bid, as currently proposed from the bidders, we feel we should take a formal action then to reject the bids.
Okay, good.
So
Okay,
I'm sorry, Kevin, did you provide I don't remember, did you provide the bid tabulation on this?
I did not, no.
Okay, so are you going to do this at the next meeting then?
If that's all right with everybody, that's what we'll do. Yeah, I'll include it as part of the package.
Okay.
Kevin, did you have any conversations with our highway department on this at all?
Not yet. That's it. I have to pull everybody into the conversation and get everybody up to speed. Because first I got to make sure to see whether or not the highway had any intention of doing work over there anyway, because then we can always just delay and then piggyback their work. But I'll have to discuss it with those folks.
All right, yeah, and if you can provide us with a drawing of what the problematic catch basins were,
Sure.
I can have a conversation with our highway super.
Great.
okay, moving on. Everybody get a chance to look at the director's draft agenda? Directors, the August 9th meeting.
There it is.
Any comments? I have one question, kind of related, somewhat related. Kevin, where do we stand with bringing the DOT into the corporation.
Okay, so I had spoken to them last week. They are interested in seeing whether or not we could assist them with getting them to the finish line for their phosphorus production. I asked them to provide us with a list of projects that they already did, things that they may do in the future, and instructing them. They're very much on board and very eager to see whether or not we can help them. Bottom line is, and what I tried to express to them was that even just a fresh pair of eyes looking at the stuff that they have might be able to just tweak their work and different. I think it's a great opportunity for us. I instructed them that if we are to come up with some type of work plan for them and do anything to help them, that likely we'll need to enter into maybe some type of agreement in place in front to finance the corporation, so that Corey and I can go through and really come up with a work plan that I think is successful. And they were on board with that. Explained to them that it's going to take a conversation today at this meeting, and likely another conversation at the quarterly meeting for everybody to accept it and move forward. They would like to have another meeting probably next week, I believe, but we haven't scheduled that yet, which I think would be a great opportunity for some of the board members here in the committee to step in and maybe join us on that one.
Who are you meeting with at the DOT, Kevin? And are there people from the DEC in on those meetings?
The DC was not, but Bob Kapowski with the DEC facilitated it and set it up for us. I met with Terry Smith and Ellen Kubik. It was last Friday.
So this is more along the lines of the corporation contracting with the DOT than it is they want to join the corporation.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I think,
Yeah.
what was it, 90 kilograms? You may have already mentioned they had a target.
Yeah, they have 90 left, and they have projects amounting to, I think, 70, maybe 80 currently, and they just don't see a way to get to the end. But they have 90. They still have 90 they have yet to do. I think that we can come up with that 90 just from driving around the watershed over the last 10 years and growing up here. It's easy to find something from a state road that I think that could have a small adjustment that can help the municipalities and the town and the DOT. I think just thinking about how many state roads line the reservoirs, I think we can get there pretty quickly. But it would be, the first step would be entering into some type of agreement where they give us X amount of dollars to come up with a work plan. We finish it off for them, and the maintenance is theirs, kilograms are theirs. We just help them get to facilitate the requirement. And then in the future, should the new permit ever arrive, they'll have another 220 kilograms, I think it was, that it's possible we may engage with them again and help them again. But I think it's a great opportunity to fix up some of the state roads that are running through your municipalities that could use a little attention.
Okay, do we need to make a motion on moving the agenda forward? Chris, or we just do it?
Yes, why don't you approve the agenda for the meeting, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written, August 9th on the screen.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Okay, any other business?
We talked about those catch basin inserts, and we actually have some of the folks over at Vales Co-op looking to talk to our insurance company. Obviously, Kevin alluded to some of this stuff already. There really is no way when we put those things in that we can argue that we're not slowing the amount of water going into the catch basin. They obviously would run faster without them than with them. So we have to be, and I know Kevin is on top of it now, but we have to just be very, very careful and maybe not use them very often unless it's in very simple parking lot. But around homes, even if it's an individual's home, I just don't see them as a really great great technology for us at this point. They're just too much liability.
And I think I agree and disagree with that, Warren, because I think depending on the basin, we can very easily show that the overflows within them are not the limiting factor of the stormwater flow, but the grates themselves.
Yeah,
So
I know,
there-
but we're talking about something a little bit different. We're talking about what the insurance company's going to do when they get a hold of it.
Understood.
And, from a liability point of view, they'll throw money at it. And I don't know if we want to be in that situation where we end up paying these things off over the next, 20, 30 years.
Right.
I don't know what the right solution is. It's just, I over at Vales, they know what happened on Route 121. They know that caused a lot of problems, at least the people up on top. But once you hit our catch bases, everybody just below our catch basins are blaming our catch basins. And,
Right. And our insurance company will hopefully do the right thing and direct them to the DOT that their infrastructure failed in this case.
Yeah.
So it's, we'll let the insurance companies sort it out, but we'll continue the evaluations and choose wisely when using.
I think Dan hit the nail on the head the last meeting. You take a smaller storm, a 1 year or 2 year storm, the catch basin inserts are designed to pass a 1 or 2 year storm. You get a 100-year storm, they are not designed to pass a 100-year storm. So
Yeah.
we need to figure out where that water is going to go in a 100-year storm, so it's not going to cause a problem. That's key to moving forward with all of these.
Yeah, so if it
and I think
overtops
we end
anything,
up
it
with the
doesn't cause
liability,
damage.
even if there was a pre-existing problem before we put the inserts in, we're gonna get called in
Yeah,
because of the inserts.
Yeah, you just can't argue that they're not constricting water flow. It could be 1% restriction, but you can't argue they're not. And that's the problem. And when people's homes get damaged, they're just going to look for everybody. And unfortunately, we have deep pockets. The municipality has deep pockets. And sooner or later, my concern is the municipality is going to get sued also because they're part of this corporation.
Sure.
I already lost this lawsuit on a sewer leak into a house. I don't, these are obviously not as bad, but they can be almost as destructive.
all right, so noted.
Yep.
Any other business? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I have a second? All in favor? Michael,
Aye.
how are you?
Hey, Linda. Is Linda on?
There's no Linda, there's only Corey.
Only. Hey, for the checks, what are we doing with signing the checks today?
She'll be in to get you guys to sign the checks on Monday.
Okay, right now I'm at home. My wife has COVID. They don't want me in the office. We went to a family wedding last weekend, and literally 28 of my, extended relatives are sick with COVID. So she's not going to be getting me in the office if she's going down. Monday, hopefully I'll be there. They'll let me in on Monday, hopefully.
All right, she's not back until Monday, so
Awesome.
we'll touch base with you then.
All right, everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.